Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in once again to another episode of Ralston Speaks. We do apologize for the length that has taken us to post another video. By no means were we inactive. We were still supporting our cause and mobilizing our communities and putting the word out. However, we thought that we might curtail some videos in order to let the anger subside, the violence subsist, and a calmer audience prevail. However, as we all know, this has not happened. Lynchings, yes, ladies and gentlemen, lynchings are on the rise. Some of them masked as suicide, but lynchings are on the rise. False arrests, the numbers haven't dropped. We all know what's happening in Kenosha, Wisconsin. These things are happening in our country, and this country was once thought of as the greatest nation, the greatest country on earth. We all know the statistics, and if you don't know, the infant mortality rate is not the best. Education, please. Healthcare, give me a break. The only thing that we are best at is military spending, and 75% of the countries that we spend have a higher military budget than are our own allies. So, greatest nation on earth, we don't know about that anymore. But going right into this video, I, for one, have had personal experiences in my own neighborhood as a result of some of my videos. And another disturbing trend that goes on in this country today is the victim mentality. We blame the victim either out of guilt, or if it's not out of guilt, we just don't want to hear it. But blaming the victim for speaking out and complaining, or it could be your fault, or what did you do? Let's say a woman leaves her house or gets into her car late at night in a parking garage, or leaves a club, whatever she chooses to do in her daily life, which is her right, and she gets apprehended and violently sexually assaulted. She sums up unlimited courage, goes to the police, and presses charges. She shows up on the stand at the hearing, and the prosecuting attorney says, "Ma'am, do you recognize this picture?" "Yes, Your Honor, that's me." "And, ma'am, do you see how short your skirt is? Were you not wearing pantyhose? This, that, and the other thing." They're blaming the victim. She can choose to wear what she wants. "How much have you had to drink on the night in question, ma'am?" "What does that matter?" That's victim. That's blaming the victim. When I get looked sideways in any organization or workplace that I'm involved in, I know the looks. I'm not paranoid. Those looks are this uppity nigger. He is using the race card. Why is it that we have to bow down to the black man in America today? Why can't they just shut up? Well, if, let's say, for example, I was of a different minority. Let's say I was overweight. I got followed in the supermarket, seeing if I was eating things without paying for them. Let's say that my minority, the overweight minority, was falsely arrested. We populated prisons more than any other minority, any other person in the country. Would you blame that minority? Or does my race have a lot to do with your anger at my videos? I'm not saying that everybody I work with or serve with is a racist. But instead of being part of the problem, if you at least recognize that there is a problem, put the shoe on the other foot, and what would you do if you were in my shoes or part of my minority? We have another disturbing trend in the United States where patriotism is mistaken. Actually, racism is mistaken for patriotism. Remember Mr. Kaepernick, NFL player, he was the first to kneel during the singing of the national anthem. The idiot president said, "Get that son of a bitch out of here." He was subsequently dismissed of his duties. And the response to his peaceful protest was, "He's disrespecting our flag. Get him out of here." So, are you a patriot because you disagreed with a man involved in peaceful protest? Peaceful protest? It had nothing to do with the national anthem. Nothing to do with the U.S. flag. Where were these patriots when the current sitting president colluded with Russia to gain the election? Where were these patriots when the current sitting president allowed imposed bounties on the head of servicemen serving overseas in Iraq, Afghanistan? Where were these patriots when the current sitting president tried to sabotage one of the oldest establishments in the United States, the United States Postal Service, by dismantling sorting machines and taking out mailboxes in countless communities across the nation? Where were these patriots? So, if you are a patriot when something is illegal, that's illegal done to a minority, and not when something illegal is done to benefit you, you are not a patriot, you are a racist. You follow a racist and a potential dictator, and you are less of an American than I am, or Colin Kaepernick, or any other person that's fought for this country and is outraged, angry, disappointed, and disgusted at where this country has gotten to during this current administration. We are taking steps to get this idiot voted out of office. But there's one thing that we have all overlooked. The current administration, have they addressed? Now, we're going to cut off the head, but the ugly body is still here. These racists have been empowered by this idiot. What are we going to do about them? This has been part of this country for hundreds of years. We're not going to tolerate it anymore. What are we going to do about that? It's okay to, if you're white, to storm a Capitol building armed to the teeth. You're a good old boy. You're a patriot. You are a man of the country. It's okay for a white man to assault a police officer or attempt to assault a police officer with a baton or a bat in his hand, and his life is so valuable that those police will not let him get anywhere near them. A black man running from the police or leaving the police, and his only crime is not giving them the respect that they think they deserve, and he gets shot in the back. All you people that I work with and serve with, and you think that I'm wrong for my protests, and you think that I'm being an uppity nigger, I should keep my mouth shut, you are part of the problem. If you see a problem and you live in it, you are either benefiting from it in some way, or you agree with it. Put your money where your mouth is if I'm speaking any untruths. That's what I thought. We of the Unific Brotherhood are taking a stand like we always have, like Calvin Brown has for decades. We're not going to tolerate any behavior that treats any man, woman, child of color in any undignified manner. Too long have we sat by and waited and hoped that things would get better. Now, not only have they gotten worse, but it's become evident that they would get even worse if we allow Donald Trump to be reelected. Now, whether he gets reelected or not, he has set a precedent in this country that all citizens, unless you're a racist, white, black, green, yellow, blue, should take a stand against. I am getting overwhelmed that I would like to live my life, enjoy the money that I earned, spend time with my family. I have gotten used to passing a police officer, going in opposite directions, spend 15 seconds looking in my rearview mirror and hoping that he won't come back, knowing I had done nothing wrong. You tell your children, if the police officer pulls you over, just be polite, listen to what he says. You know what I tell mine? Don't move a muscle. Keep both hands on the steering wheel. Do not move. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Is that fair? You're honestly saying that I am unpatriotic for protesting unfair behavior? So be it. When the sides are drawn up. Speaking of sides, the current administration has made it apparent what their side is. And all of you redneck racists, you are not on that side. Trump would rather have me working at his golf course than you being a member of it, I just don't understand how the ignorance that prevails in these troubling times have come to the forefront. My country that I fought for has we are the laughing stock of this earth. Do you all realize that? We are a laughing stock. Other countries are looking at us, and we can't even get a hold of the coronavirus. Third world countries have nipped it in the bud. They are done and finished. We are having thousands of new outbreaks daily. And we are still the greatest nation on earth. Ladies and gentlemen, sadly to say, I think we are approaching a civil war. No one is going to win in a war of this nature, and it will not be people like me that are going to start it. It's the people that continue to uphold racist, bigotist, separatist attitudes. It is the people that sit by and benefit from the racism, but do not oppose it. People like me are just tired of living in it. Ladies and gentlemen, the Unific Brotherhood is in active recruitment. We need soldiers from all walks of life. Mechanics, doctors, nurses, plumbers. Ladies and gentlemen, I am sad to say that sitting by and waiting for change to happen, it's not going to work. It has never worked. If we want equality, we're going to have to take it. Just because I am a peaceful man does not mean I have forgotten how to be violent. And the difference between myself and all the members of the Unific Brotherhood, the difference between ourselves and our opponents is that all our opponents are cowards. My name is Ralston. Thank you for listening.